A lot of the signs of burnout are hidden. They're inconspicuous, they're kind of low key, and you might not even realize that you're completely burned out until it's too late. I'm Ashley. I'm the lead mentor with Mentor Me, and today we're going to talk about the hidden signs of burnout and ways to just interrogate yourself around if you're feeling overwhelmed in life and work and what to do about it. Over the last couple of months, I've been, as always, talking to lots of women about life and work. And a constant theme in those conversations is that a lot of folks feel really burned out. And they're not calling it burned out. They're talking about how they constantly are exhausted and just can't catch up on sleep. They're talking about how they feel irritable and just annoyed with everything. They're talking about just like how nothing excites them and they don't feel enthusiastic and they don't feel engaged and they don't feel connected. And because I've been doing this work a long time, I recognize all of those signs as signs, or all of those things as signs of burnout, right? And I know how dangerous burnout really is. Like, I know how insidious it is and how it can really sneak up on you, and without warning you can be completely overwhelmed in life and work and not sure what to do about it. And so I want to talk about some of those signs in a bit more detail and talk to you about a new 3-part series that I'm launching called Revive and Thrive to address issues of burnout and overwhelm. And I've written up quite a few notes on this, so I'll be referring to those notes here. So if you see me looking this way, that's why. So let's talk about this idea of constant exhaustion. I just did a 4-day training with professionals in higher education last month in June, or I guess 2 months ago now, in June. And, I was talking about just some of these hidden signs of burnout, and one of them is constant exhaustion. And so if you wake up tired, if you can't sleep at night, if you need a nap to get through the day, if you constantly feel like you're burning the candle at both ends and no amount of sleep or, taking an extra day off or leaving work early allows you to feel revived and engaged, that is a serious sign of burnout. And often it's also a sign that there might be some underlying health issues that are preventing you from being well. And this is one that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but they're for so many of the folks that I work with, women, there's hormonal levels, there's menstruation, there's, pre-menopause or, actual menopause, that can be affecting, your energy levels and feeling like, overwhelmed and tired all the time. And a terrible work environment, where you don't feel heard, where you don't feel seen, where you don't feel valued can further contribute to that. So, if you constantly feel exhausted, burned at, both ends, no amount of days off or rest makes you feel re-engaged and real connected, that's a serious sign that you're burned out. Another sign is just a loss of enthusiasm. I'm one to not believe in the mantra of dream job, right? Like, I don't even believe in that concept. In fact, I don't dream of work. I don't dream of labor, and I invite you not to either. Work should be, fulfilling. It should be engaging. We should feel enthusiastic and connected to our work, but it doesn't have to be a dream, right? And I don't believe in the idea of dream jobs. But I do believe in the value and importance of feeling fulfilled in your work. And if you don't feel fulfilled in your work, if you don't feel engaged in the work, if there's no enthusiasm about the good work that you're doing, then that is a problem. You should feel engaged. You should feel enthused. You should feel excited. You should feel connected to your work. And it is a real hidden sign of burnout if there's no enthusiasm and no connectivity to your work. if you have the Sunday scaries every Sunday, if you dread Monday mornings, if a ping on your email means that you want to jump out of a window, that's a sign that you're burned out, right? Like fear, anxiety, senses of overwhelm and dread related to work are real signs that you feel burned out. And that's a concern, right? We'll talk later about the dangers of feeling burnt out and working while you're burned out. Because there's some real dangers to your well-being, as well as just your reputation and work product. But yeah, like we if you have no enthusiasm, no connectivity to the work, then that is a sign that you're burned out. And, I think that you want to also be leery of fake enthusiasm. If you have to like pump yourself up to go to meetings at work, if you have to fake being engaged, if you have to fake connectivity, then that's not real, that's not authentic, and that's a sign that you're burnt out. If you have to let me put a smile on my face and go in here and engage with these people, if that's how you approach work on a regular basis, that's a sign that you're burnt out, sis. That's a sign that things aren't going well. And so definitely want to encourage you to notice this. Don't let it be hidden. If you don't feel enthusiastic, don't feel engaged, don't feel connected at work, that's a sign that you're burned out. And this last one is one that it's like my favorite hidden sign of burnout, because I feel like this is one that like nobody really talks about, but we all know these people. And it's like, girl, you are burned out. And it's increased irritability. Like if you are terribly irritable, if like every little thing gets on your last stinking nerve, if your boss emails you, you rolling your eyes, if your colleague asks to schedule a meeting, you huffing and puffing, if you got to go into the office, you mad. If you got to have a 9 a.m. meeting, you mad. If you got to have a 3 p.m. meeting, you mad. Like if every little thing irritates you, if your irritability levels are off the chart, if you find yourself constantly rolling your eyes and huffing and puffing at work, then that's a sign that you are burnt out. And I think a lot of times when it comes to burnout, we do a lot of outward projection. These people need to do this. These people need to do that. That's why I don't do this. And, what I need to do is just find a new job and get away from these people, et cetera, et cetera. But burnout is an internal thing, right? Burnout is an internal thing. And I'll give you an example of a personal experience of burnout. I remember being in a job where like I was constantly being disregarded, constantly being like disempowered. I just didn't have any real authority or connection to my work. And I was constantly like authority and decision-making power was constantly being taken away from me. And I remember like so clearly, like, okay, I'm going to send this email, I'm going to advance this initiative, and I know it's not going to go anywhere. And that's the point where I realized I'm burnt out on this job. I'm not having any impact. No actions that I take drives actions on the parts of others. And I am so disconnected from this work that even in doing it, I know it's not going to yield the kind of results that I needed to yield. And that is the point where I was like, this isn't working. This is purposeless, right? And knew that I needed to make a plan to exit the role in the organization because I was beginning to experience the signs of burnout. And so if similarly you feel disempowered, disengaged, disconnected, that, you're not able to drive impact or change at work, if you're very irritable about that fact, or you don't have any enthusiasm or connection to the work, or if you're constantly exhausted and tired and full of dread when it comes to coming to work, like these are hidden signs that you're experiencing burnout. And the number one thing that I want to invite you to do is to like realize that it's burnout, like call a thing a thing. I'm big on the phrase that words mean things. And, it's just such a simple but effective phrase because I think a lot of times people try to sugarcoat things. They try to They try to use other words to mean other things, but the truth is that you're burnt out, and you have to take ownership for what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. And the first sign of that ownership is to call a thing a thing. I'm feeling burnt out. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling, disengaged from this work, right? Like, I'm not feeling connected. I've lost my enthusiasm. I'm really irritable. I'm exhausted from this work. Like, call a thing. Don't just say, oh, well, this is because, these people aren't treating me right, or this is because I'm not being paid well, or this is because this or that. Just acknowledge simply that I'm feeling burnt out, and acknowledge that you addressing that and fixing that is not something that is solo work, right? It's not something that you alone can do. I think a lot of times, because we are people, because we are women who are highly accountable, we often take on problems and we're like, I'm the person who has to fix this. I need to do this, and this, and this. And, as a career coach, I try to never perpetuate that any one problem in your career is yours alone. The problems that exist in your life and at work are not yours alone. And often you'll need help to address issues of burnout. You don't just need to wake up earlier and have a tough conversation with your boss and get paid more and do this and do that, and that's going to fix burnout. A big part of addressing burnout is having a holistic plan, and that holistic plan means that it's not yours alone. You aren't the only person who has to address and work through the issues of burnout. And so what I don't want you to do is just like, okay, I need to put burnout on my back and I need to power through and fix this. No. The first sign is acknowledging that you are experiencing burnout. And the second thing we want to do is to acknowledge that you can't overcome burnout alone, right? And if you can do those two things, that puts you on the road to really addressing burnout and fixing it in a way that will ensure that it doesn't ruin your career. And I'm excited to share that I'm actually hosting a 3-part series on overcoming burnout and returning to your passions when it comes to life and work. The series is called Revive and Thrive. It'll be a 3-part series that'll be hosted virtually, and high-achieving professional women who would benefit from coaching, who experiencing burnout and want to revive their career would be great fits for this program. You can go right to my website, mentor-me.org, and at the top of the page, it'll say register today for Revive and Thrive. You'll see all the detailed information about everything that we'll cover at Revive and Thrive, and you'll be able to secure your spot at this exciting and important event. So again, you can go right to my website at mentor-me.org. Click the link at the top of the page that says register for Revive and Thrive today, and get access to this powerful 3-part series to really begin to thrive in your work again and revive your career from burnout. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.